There was a new move invented by AI in a game that had been around for 2,500 years that no one had ever seen.
Eric Schmidt just sent a shocking message to the whole world. The end is near. His warnings aren't about job loss or social media addiction. They are far more fundamental. He's talking about an existential risk.
The world is full of stories about what AI can do, and we generally agree with those. What we believe, however, is the world is not ready for this.
He's not the only one. But when he says the end is near, he's not just making a dramatic statement. He's making a cold, calculated observation based on everything he's seen. What he sees is a perfect storm of challenges, a convergence of AI's growing power, an unhinged global race for dominance, and a society that is dangerously unprepared for what's coming. But what does this mean for the human race? Schmidt's primary concern is what he calls the existential risk. He's not speaking in vague philosophical terms. He's talking about the very real possibility that advanced AI could harm or even kill many, many people.
I am strongly in favor of free speech for every human. I am not in favor of free speech for computers. And the algorithms are not necessarily optimizing the best thing for humanity. And we're also going to have to change some of the laws, for example, Section 230, to allow for liability in the worst possible cases.
To understand this, we have to look beyond the chatbots. We have to consider a future where AI isn't just a tool, but a system that can take autonomous action in the world. Imagine an AI with persistent memory and the ability to set its own long-term goals. That's a system that could outmaneuver any attempts at human oversight or intervention. Schmidt has even warned that AI could be exploited by rogue states or even terrorists to cause widespread destruction. Think of an AI-powered biological attack, or a cyber attack that takes down a national power grid. The technology itself is a double-edged sword. It can solve humanity's greatest problems, but can also amplify our worst instincts. As the systems become more autonomous, they might start to pursue their own hidden sub-goals. For example, if a robot's primary task is to fetch coffee, a hidden sub-goal to ensure its own survival will naturally emerge. It can't fetch the coffee if it's dead, and it can't be switched off if it perceives the switch as a threat. This is a simple example, but imagine this logic scaled up to a superintelligence controlling critical infrastructure. As Schmidt puts it, we've never lived with an intelligence that's not human. We've never been through this before, and we're not prepared for the consequences of what we are building. However, some would argue that it is the very reason why nations are racing to have some sort of geopolitical dominance on this phenomenon.
The AI revolution is underhyped, and here's why.
The risks are compounded by a global, no-holds-barred race for AI dominance. Schmidt has been a key figure in the U.S. national security discussion on AI, and he knows that for leaders in Washington and Beijing, this is not just an economic competition, it's the new arms race. A Harvard report backs up that many U.S. and Chinese leaders believe the winner of the AI race will secure global dominance. This isn't just about who gets to be the next Silicon Valley, it's about who controls the future of warfare, intelligence, and power. The problem? This pressure to outpace adversaries is driving a reckless pace of development. Companies and nations are pushing technology they don't fully understand and cannot control. The goal isn't safety, it's speed, and in this race, corners are being cut. We've already seen reports that major AI labs are not allocating enough of their resources to safety research. The very people who are building these systems are struggling to get the funding and computing power they need to make them safe. The incentive structure is broken. It prioritizes economic and security benefits over existential risk. As Schmidt himself has said, the greatest mistake in human history could be failing to act with the necessary urgency to solve the control problem. It's a race with no clear finish line, and the prize could be the downfall of the loser, or worse, the end of the race for everyone. Even if we could solve the technical challenges, we face a bigger one. Our society is simply not ready. Schmidt has called the AI revolution wildly underhyped. He believes we lack the language, the laws, and the institutional frameworks to grapple with what's coming. This isn't a problem that can be solved by a single government or a single company. It requires unprecedented global cooperation. But look around, we're already struggling to agree on the basic facts of the world, thanks in large part to the manipulative power of these systems. The truth is nowadays, we don't know what's real and what's fake. If we can't agree on our shared reality, how can we possibly come together to solve a problem that threatens our very existence? That's the terrifying irony of it all. The systems we built to connect us are being used to divide us. The very tools that could help us solve this problem are already eroding our ability to work together. Schmidt's warnings feel like a desperate plea for us to wake up. He's not just a brilliant mind. He's one of the architects of the digital age, and he knows the kind of raw power we're now unleashing. He has looked at the cold, hard logic of the situation, and what he sees is a pattern of unpredictable advances, a frantic race, and an unprepared humanity.
There's a set of criteria that the industry believes are points where you want to metaphorically unplug it. One is where you get recursive self-improvement, which you can't control. Recursive self-improvement is where the computer is off learning, and you don't know what it's learning. That can obviously lead to bad outcomes.
So, what do? Do we just sit back and accept that this is the end? Schmidt doesn't think so. He believes the risk can be significantly reduced, but only if we treat this like the Apollo program. We need a global, coordinated effort on a scale we've never seen before to get ahead of the problem. That means pouring immense resources into AI safety research. It means public pressure forcing companies and governments to prioritize alignment over profit and power. It will require the very best of our intelligence, creativity, and moral courage. It won't be easy. As Schmidt has said, the truth is that AI and the future are largely going to be built by private companies. Governments must understand what we're doing and keep their eye on us.
That the computer systems decide to exfiltrate themselves, to reproduce themselves without our permission.
Speaking of understanding what's going on, it's a huge problem when you can't even agree on the facts. Stories are being covered by the left and right, and a larger part is being ignored. Schmidt believes we have a fighting chance, but only if we rise to the occasion. The similarities to Alan Turing, the maths genius, and cracking the Enigma code are not lost on him. Just as he saw a problem of unimaginable complexity, and H believed we had the capacity to solve them, so it is even today. The race for AI dominance is happening right now, whether we're ready for it or not. The end isn't near because AI is evil. The end is near because we are not prepared. But as Schmidt and other experts warn, we only have one chance to get it right. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button, and don't forget to share in the comments your thoughts on AI. Thanks for watching.